Scaling an African tech startup and the difference between scaling on a European, American, or Chinese startup, we're about to tackle in this video today on ER100. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because something that recently finally started adding up in pieces from just the last couple of weeks, and then also from researching and observing my fellow competitors in the African market. Now, the reason why I'm making this video and the reason why I'm generalizing it as Africa is because in general, different countries within Africa, yes, I know Africa is not a continent, but the countries it's a continent, it's not a country. The countries within Africa have similar traits and have similar challenges, and that's why I'm kind of putting the umbrella on Africa, okay, before anyone in the comment section starts telling me, hey, Africa is a continent. I know. So the reason why I'm making this video once again is because it's a very crucial step for you when you're building your company. You should not expect African environment to treat you as Silicon Valley. It's not. It's not gonna work, okay? And here's the first big thing, okay? Lose money, scale fast. That's one classic thing that Silicon Valley uses, right? If you look at big companies like Uber, which is losing, I believe, about some $1 billion a year. Lyft is losing about, I think, maybe $80 million a year. As in, we have all these big tech giants that are losing a stupid amount of money every year, yet they're still being praised, right? Being praised for losing money. A business should be praised for making money. Now, the reason why they're able to be praised for that is because there's a lot of just cash, stupid cash, laying around in the United States and the US market in tech, right? Africa is not quite there yet. And even in China, it's kind of like a similar place, but not exactly as extreme as the United States or Europe. But that's the one misconception some entrepreneurs might make when they're trying to build a company in Africa. Like, hey, it doesn't matter if we're losing money now, we'll figure it out later. Now, the dangerous thing about doing that is because the African market right now does not have a lot of capital moving around it. But here's the other crucial part. Learn how to make money with your business. Learn how to scale your company while it's making money. Because I'm telling you right now, you thinking that you're going to be able to be a unicorn that can lose a stupid amount of money and investors are going to hold on tight with you, it's not going to happen. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of, for example, what's the one tech startup called? Is it Congo? Soko? And I'm not sure, Congo or Soko, whatever. It's the second largest e-commerce startup in Africa. It recently got sold at a loss, right? They raised over $80 million and they were never able to find a way to make money. I'm sorry, I can't quite remember the name. Let me see if I can find it here. 1 second here. I just want to be accurate on this. Konga, yes, Konga. So I was in the right track, right? You recently heard, Konga was sold. It was sold out because it wasn't able to quite find a way to make profits, okay? And this is the early stages of e-commerce in Africa. It's like literally somebody saying Amazon got bought out when it was just starting off, which doesn't make sense. But of course, Amazon's been losing money for a very long time because it is in a market where there's stupid cash cow money going around. There's money just freaking flying everywhere. So they could be able to lose money for that long time period. But also there's a lot of other different complicated stuff that Konga might have done that might ended up making investors want to say like, hey, we're trying to cash out now. This is not going to work out. Now, it's the same thing like Jumia right now. They're in a difficult spot as well because they're losing, I think they're losing like 100 million euro a year. Correct me. The last time I checked, that's how much they were losing. And they haven't quite found a way to become profitable. And if they don't find a way to become profitable, there's usually a couple of things that happens, right? Either you get bought out at a loss or you basically go bankrupt, right? So the reason why I'm telling you, you should find a way for your startup to make money. And I literally mean in the early stages is because it's what's your foundation, what's going to help you compete in the market. Now, let me give you a scenario right now, right? If you are able to figure out like, okay, if we can be able to make X amount of cash per month from X amount of people using our services, then we can be able to be profitable. We can be able to pay expenses. And if you figure out that formula, then you can be able to actually scale your startup in a profit. When you're scaling up a company in a profit, it gives you a little bit more leverage. Matter of fact, not a little bit. It gives you way more leverage. If your company is making money, it means you can be able to reinvest not only back into it, but it means you can be able to expand and grow in the industry. It means you can be able to actually become profitable. So it means even if you're looking for investors, you're a little bit more lucrative. And if you can't find investors, you can still scale day by day. So that's the whole point I'm trying to make here. Do not try to compare yourself or try to use the same exact business model or the same exact unicorn style that Uber and the others have been using in the United States, Europe, and trying to compare that to Africa. It's not gonna work out, at least not as well. At least we've not seen a track record of any kind of tech company from Africa that's been able to do that quite yet, because as you know, Africa is still a very, very young nation, continent. countries within it are still very young. As far as developing in tech and the, venture capital and the angel capital rounds, all those different things, it's still relatively very young. So for you to be able to actually be able to build something from Africa, that's one of the things you have to do. Okay. Now, here comes to the second point. Okay. So the second point I have right here is depends on what industry you are in, right? So I'm going to talk about the mass consumer industry. The mass consumer industry, okay, there's probably a definition in the textbook what that means, but I'm going to use my own definition here on what I'm trying to say. Mass consumer services are basically applications where people are able to use something like Instagram, Snapchat, or social media, whatever it might be. It's basically a product for the masses. Like, it doesn't really necessarily mean that a person has to be super, super niche. It basically means that almost the vast majority of people in that area are going to use it. Now, when it comes to Africa, I'm not even going to use Africa. Let me just step back. Let's go over to India. If you look at India, when they have things like music subscription services and all those other different things, movies and all those different things, they usually know that people are not going to be subscribing a high fee per month. So you need to find, am I really about to reveal this? Okay, let's just reveal it. Yeah, here's why I'm saying that is because I just caught myself releasing one of my competitive strategies for one of the startups I'm working on, but I don't care. I'm about to blast it out there for you guys. Okay, so this is what it is. You need to find a way in Africa. This is like the multi-million or multi-billion dollar question you need to ask yourself for your company if it's in a massive consumer industry, right? Either in the social media, either it's in the video, video on demand, VOD, whatever it might be. You need to figure out a way to make money without charging customers. Yes, I know. You need to find a way to make money without charging customers. That is the holy grail of business. How can you be able to find a way to charge customers just time, not money? Just time. Because time that's spent on your platform, for example, on Instagram, Facebook, whatever, you're not paying for Facebook, you're not paying for Instagram, but you're paying in your time. And your time generates data, generates different things that happen on the screen. And then guess what? They show you ads, they make money, you're happy, free service, you're getting your joy, and they're happy that you're getting money. So in Africa, I believe the next big companies that are going to be rising up are companies that are going to find a way to make money without charging consumers. That is going to be the holy grail of the next big tech leaps in Africa, because here's what I'm saying is because number one, not only has it worked well in the United States, but it's working very well in India and China, especially China, baby. They got 1 billion people. And some of the biggest social tech-based startups there, like Tencent and the others, have been able to find a way to make money without consumers paying them cash, right? They've been able to make money from ads and stuff like that. So that's the next big thing that's coming in Africa. And I already broke down in the beginning. Find a way to make money, okay? First thing, find a way to be breaking even. Find a way to make a little bit of profit, then find a way to get a lot of profit. And if you're not quite there yet, find a way to lose just a little bit of money that you can still be able to scale, right? So that's kind of what I want to talk about on that next section. Now, of course, I don't want to just drop off and leave it off at like, oh, if you're not doing an app, if you're not doing different things like that, then you're basically screwed. No. So the next part is, of course, the services where people have to pay you cash, right? If you're selling food, if you're selling a certain service, consulting, marketing, whatever it might be, you have to still find a way to be able to make revenue. Now, the thing that I recommend in Africa compared to other startups in the United States is not necessarily they don't want to pay for it. It's the cost of teaching consumers, right? That's probably the biggest cost right now, because a lot of these different technologies and services that are coming out have not been fully branded in a way that are going to make businesses, especially B2B relationships, to buy that service from you. Now, even for consumers, people want to provide certain services, catering and stuff like that. You still have to find a way to be able to educate the consumers to be able to see that your services are of value. Now, of course, consumers might already know about like, hey, yeah, I hire you, you make food, and then I pay you money. But you need to find a way to be able to make it in a franchise style, okay? You want to think about a franchise. You want to think about how can you be able to create a franchise out of what you're doing? How can you be able to take yourself, hire other individuals to do what you do, and then take those individuals to be able to train other people, and then hire, you see what I'm trying to say here, a franchise, create an empire. That's the next part what comes in Africa. You need to be able to find a way to do that at a small scale. It's not going to work the same way as in the United States and Europe and stuff like that, or China. Well, China is a little bit closer to Africa, India and stuff like that, since they kind of went through a similar large population, and they also had a period in time where there was extreme poverty in the countries. And stuff like that, but now there's not a lot of that they've been able to develop. But the one thing I'm talking about is franchising at a profitable scale. Because if you look at franchisees that might be in the United States and stuff like that, they still have a lot of cash pushing them from behind. But a lot of franchises end up dying out because they were not able to make profit or be able to scale in a profitable way. So the end and moral story of this video is basically Find a way to make money from your consumers, from your customers. Your startup needs to make money. Period. I don't care if you're saying, well, we're just going to run at a loss and then we'll turn it around somewhere down the road. Yes, that does work from some startups, but the far majority of startups cannot do that. Those are unicorns. Do you understand Uber is a unicorn? Okay, losing $1 billion a year. Snapchat is a unicorn. They were losing over $500 million a year. Those guys are unicorns, okay? Facebook is a unicorn. All those different companies are unicorns, and they were able to work in a certain environment. Now, I'm not here trying to knock anybody's hustle. Here's what I'm saying. You don't want to use a business model that's a unicorn is because it's going to be a big hit. Now, it's a unicorn. Bro, in Africa, it's not even a unicorn. In Africa, we don't even have a word for it because it's not quite happened yet. We've not had a tech startup in Africa that comes out and it's losing billions of dollars a year and they end up becoming profitable later. I know it will happen. It definitely will. It has to happen. Numbers will prove that in over a period. But right now, we don't have that in Africa. So you trying to build your business model based on what's happening in Silicon Valley is a losing mentality. Because I even remember when I went to iHub and I was talking to the COO of iHub, right? And he told me, you cannot repeat what Silicon Valley is doing. Okay, Silicon Valley's lean startup in Africa is luxury. That's a better way to put it. A lean startup in Europe, a lean startup in the United States is literally the most expensive way to start a company in Africa. So Africa is literally on lean startup. It's like at the bottom. Okay, not lean the drug, but like, very frugal startup, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to talk about here. You need to adapt to your environment. Do not use the same exact methods, but use methodology, okay? Methodology, the different strategies, the different mindset they use to be able to get to where they got to, but do not copy exactly what they did because you're playing in a different environment. You have to adapt to that environment, okay? Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was able to make sense. I felt like I was rumbling around because I was trying to fit this core message of basically do not copy exactly what Silicon Valley is doing in Africa. And I try to kind of show an example of what's happening in Africa and the different things that might be there. It might be, massive consumer services. It might be individual-based services, whatever it might be. At the end of the day, the topic I'm trying to tell you, find a way for your business to make $1. Find a way to make $1 from $2 spent, okay? Find a way to make 50 cents from $1 spent. Anything that smells like profit is what you need, and tastes like profit is even what you need to eat up on, okay? Thank you much for watching this video. Hope you guys liked it and enjoyed it. I really wanted to share this video because it was a very pivotal moment for me yesterday when I finally connected the pieces on that, and then this morning we went in and we hammered. I actually just came from programming some of those things that we're trying to implement in to see if it can be able to work, all right? Thank you for watching. Peace out, and see you on the next